I'm tired of what economists say because it's never connected to reality. All apologies to Mike Moffat. I'm not angry at you directly. I'm angry at the narratives. So let me break down a few narratives. I'm going to talk about housing and show you how this narrative is complete bullshit. I'm going to talk about the rate, wages, and prices to show you that that narrative is bullshit. And there's a narrative about AI and jobs, and I'm getting the sense that that's bullshit too, and I'm going to start there. AI is already driving up unemployment among young tech workers, according to Goldman Sachs. Yeah, absolutely. As you know, I'm closely associated to the game industry, and I can tell you that it is a bloodbath in the tech world. Here's where I think some of these people are not connecting the dots properly, okay? So we'll go down here. Goldman Sachs predicts AI will displace 6 to 7% of all U.S. workers. Really? They're not using AI. If they'd used AI, they would drive that percentage rate up much higher. Let me show you something about the battery plant in St. Thomas. So I'm sure you know by now that Volkswagen is building a battery facility in St. Thomas, Ontario. It's about a $7 billion facility. Now it's expected to create about 3,000 jobs, but 30,000 spin-off jobs. You got that? So 3,000 jobs directly connected to the plant, 30,000 more jobs because these 3,000 jobs were created. So you understand the knock-on effect here. Goldman Sachs thinks it's only going to be 6 or 7% of the workforce that's going to be displaced by AI. No. Double that. Triple that. Because there will be the people who are displaced by AI, and then there's going to be the people who are displaced because those other people don't have work. All right, so now that I got you scared, let me move on to this housing thing for a second. Our leaders keep talking about the housing crisis, so why on earth are we building way fewer homes? Because we've already overbuilt homes. Housing crisis fueling largest BC exodus in decades. Guess what they have too many of in BC? Starts with a C, ends in an ondo. And because of high housing costs that we all know about, Vancouver and British Columbia have been expensive for decades. Negative net interprovincial migration could be the canary in a coal mine. Sure. Remember this from last month? From bad to terrible, Toronto's market for new condos has fallen off a cliff. Sales in Toronto are down 77% from last year, a level not seen in 30 years. But we need to build more? While there's empty housing sitting there, we need to build more empty housing? Who's going to build it? Who's paying for this? Who's buying it? Who's going to occupy it? Maybe the economists got it wrong. Speaking of slightly wrong, the Bank of England cut its rate today from 4.25% to 4%, but there was no consensus. Some of them wanted to keep the rates high. Oh, because inflation is still too high. Now remember the rationale here. The Econ 101 people love this stuff. They increase rates to make things more expensive because by making things more expensive, it makes things less expensive. Yeah. But does that really work? You know my stance on this, that it's all about wages. That their story is bullshit because the evidence points to something else. Since we've been increasing rates, we've been increasing unemployment. There's 2022. Partway through 2022, we started increasing rates, and we've been increasing unemployment since. Let me show you a little something, okay? People need a couple things to survive, like water, as an example, food, and shelter. Basic necessities of life. There's wages, there's hours. I'm going to take this top line here. It's people covered by a collective bargaining agreement. That's 2020, that's 2024. From 2020 to 2024, the average hourly pay has increased by 13%. And you saw that hours were about the same. So annual pay has gone up 13%. What about that food and shelter? There's 2020. Food and shelter. And we can debate what's in here. I'm just going to go with the top line numbers. Food and shelter, 2020. June 2025. Now we can nitpick and say that I'm comparing 2024 wages. Well, we don't have the wages for 2025 yet, but I'm pretty sure that they have not increased as much as these numbers. Here's the difference in food. It's 26%. From 2020 to 2025, 26% increase in the cost of food. 28% increase in the cost of shelter. 13% increase in wages. Do you think they increased another 13% from last year to this year? No, they haven't. I'm tired of the bullshit. This is the information age. We have the information at our fingertips. we can compare what they say to what the data says. Mark my words, this has ended badly throughout history. If you keep oppressing the people, eventually the people rise up. And when they rise up, it's violent and it's ugly. And that's coming. Mark my words, that's coming.